Hello there, Reject Nation. I'm Greg Alba. Tell them your name, my dear.
I am Julia Tranfalia.
Julia Tranfalia is my leader, my director. Really quick, we're going to watch movie scenes that nearly killed Jackie Chan from Looper. But Julia is the director of a short film called Civil Defense Red Rover, which I act in. It's an alt history war short. They got big plans for the future. Guys, I have been in some other short films before, but I wanted to bring Julia on today because this was one hell of an experience. Many months in the making. The short film came out great. We did a screening at a theater for Arena Cine Lounge. I think I did okay. I'm barely in it.
Rude.
Everything else is awesome. I said I think I did okay.
I think you did fantastic.
That's a director talking right there. Seriously, go check it out. I don't want to ruin anything for you. It's really well done, and I'm so proud of everything
Greg
you did.
goes through some hell.
Yes, my 5 seconds of screen time out of 10 minutes.
You are the heart and soul, sir.
I'm selling the sizzle.
You are the sizzle.
Not the steak.
All right, fair. Gotta go see it to check out more. I can't even talk. Gotta go see it to check out more. Obviously, use your eyeballs.
We are moving on. You like Jackie Chan?
I do. I love Jackie Chan.
He was one of the main reasons I got into film.
Really? Which movie was it?
I was like 4 years old when Rumble in the Bronx came out.
Ooh.
And then we'll talk more about it after.
Yes.
The incomparable Jackie Chan has been thrilling audiences for over 4 decades with a singular combination of insane martial arts skills and great.
I'm gonna probably have seen all the
other quality
movies
that sets Chan apart from his peers is that he does his own stunts.
Yes,
no matter
sir.
how dangerous, cheating death virtually every time he makes a movie. Here are a few scenes that posed grave danger to the life and
He
the limbs
pushes
of one
himself.
of the greatest action stars of all
It's
time.
actually a little scary sometimes.
Drunken Master. Snake in the Eagle's Shadow
This is
was
the
one of Chan's
first one,
lead
first
roles
Drunken
back in
Master.
1978, introducing his distinct comic touch and distinguishing him from the great Bruce Lee. The movie also featured rising star Hoang Zhang Li, the king of the leg fighters, whose powerful kicks
King
have
of the
become
leg
legend.
fighters.
Zhang Li and Chan's on-screen chemistry was so good that Zhang Li was cast as a villain in Chan's
I shouldn't have done that.
No,
Drunken
it's never
Master.
done.
While shooting Snake, Zhang Li had accidentally kicked out one of Chan's teeth.
Ooh!
But Chan had apparently failed to learn his lesson. He suffered one of his first major onset injuries.
Got kicked
when
in
one
the
of Lee's
teeth.
thundering
Hey.
kicks connected with his brow bone, breaking it and nearly causing him to lose an eye. In a
God.
2014 interview, Hoang Zhang Li was asked to rank his top 5 kung fu fighters, and he didn't hesitate to rank Jackie Chan at number 1.
Nice.
Project A.
Oh, you would
In
love this. You love like
1983,
Chaplin and stuff.
Hong Kong
Oh,
police
and
teamed
Buster
up with the
Keaton.
Coast Guard to
You
fight
love this
pirates
movie.
At the turn of the 20th century, and it's pure slapstick comedy by way of blinding martial arts and insane stunt work. One of the most dangerous things Chan ever did appears in the finished movie, and it may have been the first scene to give audiences the notion that Chan may be superhuman. In the scene, Chan's character Mark
that's
dangles from the face of a
literally Charlie
60-foot
Chaplin.
clock
Yep.
tower, but things don't go well.
For the dove.
He actually did it though.
Yeah, he actually fell. Yeah.
Oh.
After losing his grip and falling 6 stories through a couple of awnings, Chan lands directly on his head. Chan injured his spine during the stunt, but the camera doesn't cut away. Instead, extras drag him to his feet and he continues the scene.
Oh my god, and his
Police
hands are
story.
cuffed.
Yeah.
The story series has been particularly hazardous to Chan, starting with the 1985 original.
This is
At the
probably
time
my
of the
favorite
prolonged
Jackie Chan
brawl
movie.
Inside a shopping mall, Chan jumps from a railing onto a pole covered in Christmas lights. The glass was fake, so Chan at least wasn't sliced to ribbons, but the lights had heated up the pole, causing him to sustain serious burns on his hands. The hard landing also dislocated Chan's pelvis and injured 2 vertebrae. At least the stunt looked great in the finished film,
How is
because
he
there was
okay?
no way they were getting a second take.
Like,
Armor of
how do you
God.
come back from
It was a
that?
completely
Ooh, I know
routine
about this
shot that
one.
resulted in Chan's closest brush with mortality. While shooting the 1986 film Armor of God in Yugoslavia, Chan had to jump from the wall of a castle to a nearby tree branch, a maneuver that he'd normally be able to pull off in his sleep. Instead, he came crashing down onto the rocks below, cracking his skull and sending a piece of it into his brain, resulting in doctors having to put a metal plate in his head. It seems like the kind of thing that might put an action star out of commission for good. But the near-fatal injury simply became the highlight of Armor of God's outtake reel, and over the next 2 decades, Chan would continue to risk it all for the enjoyment of his millions of fans. Armor of God 2, Operation
Did it
Combat,
again.
the second film in the Armor of God series, released in 1991, sees Chan in Indiana Jones mode. chasing after hidden treasure and dealing with secret cults and hidden Nazi bases. It's packed to the brim with crazy fight sequences and stunts, but it was another reasonably simple task that nearly took Chan out.
Fool me once, fool me twice, man.
Clever editing hides Chan's terrible tumble during filming. In the extended scene, Chan actually loses his grip on the chain and plummets to the ground. Even though he had dislocated his sternum, he gives a thumbs up. It could have been worse.
What
If
a
he
great
had landed
attitude.
differently, he might have finished the job he started on Project A and dislocated his head. Police Story 3: Super Cop. It's safe to say that most leading men have never had their face rearranged by a helicopter. Jackie Chan is not most leading men. An incredibly perilous sequence in 1992's Police Story 3: Super Cop has Chan leap onto a rope ladder dangling from a chopper, while the pilot attempts to shake him off. That wasn't even the dangerous part. When the helicopter later lands on a moving train,
God, look at him go.
all Chan has to do is avoid it as he dangles from a
Oh
rotating
my
railway
God.
apparatus. A miss revealed in the outtakes resulted in a fractured rib, broken shoulder, and a dislocated cheekbone. Chan had to hang on
So-
with
What is
his
that?
shoulder while
Is that
half
his
conscious.
hand?
No, that's someone else's hand.
Okay.
It's easy to see how much worse it could have been. The Legend of Drunken
There we go.
Master.
My fave.
It took 16 years for Drunken Master to receive a sequel, 1994's The
was
Legend
great.
of Drunken Master. Its climactic fight sequence is legendary, but it was almost very different. Chan disagreed with the director's vision for the final scene, and the conflict led to him quitting the uncompleted production. Chan himself took over directing duties, and decided to repeatedly risk lighting himself on fire.
Yeah. He actually, like, invented a new style of fighting for this movie.
What makes the
Howie.
sequence even more amazing is that the take in the finished film is the second one. Chan felt that the first take didn't have the proper rhythm, so he shot it again because he's apparently invincible. Who Am I? 1998's Who Am I places Chan in the middle of international intrigue, working with a CIA agent to solve a mystery surrounding missing scientists while dodging hitmen in scenic locales. And of course, performing one of the most insane stunts ever put to film. Rotterdam in the Netherlands is home to Willemswerf, one of the world's more unique skyscrapers. It features a sloping glass facade that runs down one entire side of the 24-story building. In the climactic scene of the film, Chan slides down the entire length of the facade. Chan accomplished this stunt by literally just sliding down the entire length of the facade, unassisted, with no harnesses or other special
Oh, yeah, that's so
He just
scary.
did it.
The slide takes nearly 45 seconds to complete before Chan comes to a bone-jarring halt, catching himself from flying over the edge. It took him 2 weeks to work up the courage to attempt what might be the most dangerous stunt
You
ever
think?
put to film. New Police Story.
Oh, I have
Since the
not
old
seen this
Police
one.
Story series obviously wanted him dead, Chan could have been forgiven if he'd wanted to skip the 2004 reboot New Police Story. But in characteristic fashion, he threw himself into the film's kinetic action scenes with gusto. In one particularly terrifying scene, Chan pursues a gang member who distracts him from the chase by gunning down the driver of a loaded double-decker bus. Chan leaps onto the roof of the out-of-control bus, which proceeds to cause massive property damage while the hazards come at him fast and furious.
Whoa.
It's easy to spot about 100 things that could have gone wrong during the filming of this sequence, any one of which
I
could
did
have
not
resulted
see
in
this
Chan
one.
literally losing his head. But if it weren't crazy dangerous to shoot, it wouldn't really be a Jackie Chan movie. Thanks for watching.
I
Click
don't
the
wanna
link
know
icon
what
to
his
subscribe
insurance
to our
on these
YouTube
films
channel.
were
Plus,
like.
Check out all this cool stuff. We know
Well,
you
that's the issue with when he does American movies is the insurance. Like
They won't let him do it.
I remember for Rush Hour 1.
Great movie.
Oh yeah, classic. Should have won Best Picture. Yeah, for Rush Hour 1, he had some simple stuff where he ran up a tree and then I forget the position on set. They're like, "Whoa, what are you doing? He can't do that. he's gonna get hurt." Like, it's Jackie Chan. Like, no, you gotta put wires on him. Like, something he did not want to use wires. Yeah, there's a lot where in American films where they wired him up where normally he wouldn't use wires. Sometimes had to use a double just because of insurance policy purposes and stuff. Yeah, I'm surprised Tom Cruise is able to to get away with as much as he gets away with now. That's why he also produces his own movies, Tom Cruise, so he could do those stunts. I think you would like some of his older films because he does have you often have dropped Charlie Chaplin. You have a cat that looks like Charlie Chaplin.
I do. He's got a nice little stash.
Even though everyone thinks Hitler, but you call him Chaplin,
I think it's a little more PG.
Yeah. I think you would really like Project A for that purpose. Police Story has got to be my favorite one. When he's about to go down the pole, he was saying how he had to let out this yell because he had to work up the nerve to do it. I think with performers like Jackie Chan, you'd think that they can just handle stuff.
We took 2 weeks to get ready for that slide down a building, and I'm amazed that he didn't psych himself out at the end. You know what I mean?
I know. I can't even look over the edge of some buildings.
Would you skydive or bungee jump?
If I'm being recorded, there's a lot more things I do.
You heard it here first, kids. Get him to skydive or bungee jump. Demand it from Greg.
If there is a video of it, there's something about people might want to see it. If there's a camera, I'm more likely to do it. There's a lot of things I would do if there's a camera recording as opposed to without a camera recording. I don't know what that says about me.
You're daring, I guess. You got to add that layer.
Only if there's an audience there.
That's fair.
That level of narcissism that is applied to it. But I don't get actors like this, who are just willing to do this. But he comes from a different time. He grew up in Peking Wu Opera. It was the first biography I've ever read was his book, I Am Jackie Chan. The amount of scrutiny and discipline and training that he had to go through growing up. Sometimes, from reading that book, what he does in the movies is kind of a walk in the park compared to the insane level of discipline and torture and punishment, the literal punishment that they would inflict on their performers to be the best they can be. Jackie Chan was conditioned to be this human being who would do all these crazy things, And
I guess it's just so wonderful that he's at least able to share it with people, and he's inspired so many people to get into not only filmmaking but martial arts and study performing from various aspects. And stunt coordination is so integral to these films. And the fact that he's his own stunt coordinator, probably why he gets away with doing some crazy stuff. Imagine the hours behind all the rehearsals he had to do and all the camera rehearsals. It must have been pretty dangerous for the camera crew behind it too. You see that one shot where he jumps from the truck to the side and around the billboard and the camera just veers right under and it's right here.
Yeah.
And I imagine that, camera distances, you probably needed a good at least 6 if not 15 feet between the lens and the billboard, but it's so close. They quite literally have to swing it up and hide under the billboard while he comes back in.
What we would call guerrilla filmmaking style in the States, a lot of it can be common practice in Hong Kong. That movie, Who Am I, where he goes down the skyscraper. There's a simple stunt, well, not a simple one, but there was a stunt where they had it was partially funded by an American company or something, and there was a stunt there. They were taking 6 hours to set up, and Jackie Chan got annoyed, and then so he's just no, we gotta do this my way to hurry this up, and then literally in 30 minutes they set it up. They needed this car to be on its side and start spinning, and they were building this contraption that was taking all day, and so he's no, we're just gonna get my stuntmen to just run in a circle and pull it. Because this is taking way too long to do. So their safety precautions are not as intense as ours out here. So that's why he does a lot of Hong Kong films. And he said the money is in America. Thinks the filmmaking process takes way too long in the States as opposed to out there where you can get these kind of crazy shots and you don't have to worry about all this insurance wiggle room that you have to do out in the States.
Those safety precautions.
Yeah. That's what makes his career so special is how he puts his life on the line so much. He's got a permanent hole in his skull.
I wonder how many injuries total he's had in his life and those medical bills. And they compound. It's one of those things that it's not he got a head injury, now he'll rebound. That's not how any of them work. And it must really impact how he can pull off any of these stunts because, if he's got a bum foot, it's not like he can really land and do a flip properly. He has to kind of compensate for that. But his recovery, I want to know how he does it. There's some magic there.
On our short film, I did my own stunts.
Yeah, you did.
I jumped over something really slight and ran and grabbed something. You
ran over a pile of sandbags over a ditch, so it was probably a good 4 to 5 foot drop.
6 weeks of training.
Well, we had Dylan Wilson, our amazing stunt coordinator, who was on set keeping things safe. We did have stunt rehearsals for the knife fights and all the other crazy action, but you were running, you were gunning.
With me, they were
beautiful.
he's a pro. We don't need to train him.
We don't need it. We just got to see you run, man.
Actually, for Dylan,
It all
to
comes
me, it was
out.
simple. It was just like, all right, I just got to get up and jump over this bag. It's not a big deal. He looked me up and down and went, "How athletic are you?" And I was like, what do you need me to do? God, what do you think of me? Like, the fact that he had to examine my physique first for something so simple.
Sizing you up.
Yeah.
Well, you could hurt yourself, reasonably so,
Ah.
if you're really into it.
Anyway, guys, go check out that short film, Civil Defense Red
You
Rover.
can see him run. You can check out that physique that Dylan was looking at.
Yeah, you should go check out my male modeling Instagram page too.
What's the handle?
I
broke
my
you.
skills are not quick enough right now. All right, guys. Well, you guys can subscribe to Looper, subscribe to The Real Rejects, click that notification bell to get notified whenever we got a video up. I'd like to end this with a patron of the day shout out, JT. JT is our Japanese man from Hawaii. Now, JT, look, this is going to sound racist, but I assure you it's not.
If you have to say it's racist.
If you have to say it's racist. If you have to say it's racist, it's probably racist, Greg.
I'm still coming back from the premiere, man.
I was going to say, JT, I am shouting you out because you are Asian and Jackie Chan is Asian. So it only makes sense to shout out the only Asian patronaject that we have.
We need a little more diversity here, I think.
I mean, Jackie Chan's Chinese and you're Japanese.
Not the same.
But in some circles, they would consider it the same. Racist circles.
Racist sister. That's a reference that not a lot of people will get. It's from Star Kid, but that's okay.
You have made this shout out so much better.
Star Kid fans will love it. Everyone else won't get it.
Your contribution. I'm sorry, JT. I've shouted you out so many times, and you know me. I'm gonna resort to something racist or
JT
sexist.
is also my initials, so
That would
Didn't
have
connect
helped
at
us
all.
out so much more.
I just wanted to see
We
you
should have
struggle.
gone there first. You get a behind the scenes shout out of us trying to figure out how to shout you out today, JT.
Good man, thank you.
Stay Asian.
Stay